Thanks everyone for showing up at this hour of the morning. We're very excited about 5BARZ and spend the next few minutes talking about it. We started 5BARZ to design, develop, and deliver innovative solutions to the cellular network operators that found it challenging to service areas that have chronically been a problem for years and years and years. One of the things that we believe this breakthrough technology is going to provide is that long sought after last mile wireless connectivity. When we look at the market for this product, we see that it is a vast market. There's over 6.8 billion cell users around the world and growing. And we keep coming back to this chronic problem that has existed in telco since they've been rolling out the wireless networks. We see in this graph here that the largest reason for people leaving a network is because of poor signal quality. And this is consistent across the spectrum of the networks, whether it's in the US, whether it's in Europe, Asia. We find that this is a chronic problem. If we monetize that problem into some numbers that we can all relate to, the graph I showed you earlier showed you the percentage of people who leave because of poor signal quality, but as it relates to a percentage of a network, it's 3%. So 3% of the network subscribers leave their network because of poor signal quality. So we took that number and extrapolate that across the spectrum, we find that that is a huge opportunity. In fact, at a $200 unit cost, which our device sells for, you're looking at a $27 billion potential market. So it's clear that there is a huge need for this technology. And in Barcelona, we launched our network extender. This is a product that is unlike any other in the marketplace. In fact, the size of it is 140 by 100 by 41 and 300 grams. So it's a very small, light device that you simply plug into the wall and it's on. And that is a huge advantage over the existing competition where you need to have setup, you need the outside antenna, inside antenna, and it's in the technology that we believe we have the opportunity. Let's talk a little bit about how we achieve this, this form factor. In most RF solutions, you need to have antenna separation. You need to have a send antenna and receive antenna. And what we've done is we've integrated those antennas. So we actually have those antenna working in the same form factor. This is something that is very difficult to achieve. In fact, if you talk with most network engineers, they'll tell you that with the parasitic feedback that is associated with bringing two antennae too close together, you actually have echo and you will have non-performance of the device. So one of our patents that we have, which is very, very important to understand, is that we've figured out a way to convince these two antennae that they're very far apart. And we've done that through signal processing, and we've actually been able to overcome that echo and bring these two antennae together in a single form factor. That doesn't mean much to the consumer unless we put it into sort of terms that they can understand. So what we're able to do is with this device, you simply plug it in, it's on, and your coverage area is 4,000 square feet. So if you imagine everybody in this room has poor signal, you plug the device in and now everybody in the room has their full 5BARZ functionality. One of the things that this device provides, which is again unique to the system in the networks, is remote access control. So what that means is that when we call this a network extender, what you're actually doing is this device, once it's plugged in, now becomes a part of the network. So you actually can have this device controlled by the network operations center in their respective marketplaces, which is, again, very, very unique. No one else has done this in the marketplace. Again, another patented process. I can't stress enough the technological breakthroughs that this product represents and why we believe this is going to have a huge impact in our ability to penetrate the market. We have 3 issued patents currently, 14 in process, and we believe we have a very strong IP position. Again, intellectual property is the hallmark of any technology company, and we spent a lot of time and money building our IP and will continue to do so. But let's talk about what's really important in the commercialization, and that is how we're going to successfully build this business. We have a collaboration agreement that we signed last year, and we are now in the final preparations of delivering our devices to that collaboration partner, which we intend to do within the next 2 weeks. That will be an inflection point that we've been looking for quite some time. This will be the first commercialization of the device to the telco marketplace. And so what we've been focused on since Barcelona is really building up our infrastructure in that market. To that degree, we just recently got back from India, where we spent a considerable amount of time going into the marketplace, finding out what the Indian opportunity was. And very excitingly, we discovered that there's still a huge problem in India. There's 835 million subscribers in India, and we met with the top 3 providers, Airtel, Vodafone, and Idea, and discussed with them this solution. And what was really interesting is because of the lack of broadband installed in India, there is virtually no market competition. Femtocell, which we compete with in other markets, doesn't exist in India. So this is really a very interesting opportunity for us that unless you're actually on the ground in India developing those relationships, you really can't understand that those opportunities exist. So we have started business operations there, getting the feedback and starting to work with the carriers, and we'll be delivering devices to the carriers in India in the June timeframe. Africa is another area that we are focused on. Africa, in particular South Africa, has very similar infrastructure issues that India has. We are meeting with the top telcos in South Africa, and again intend to start delivering devices to the South African marketplace in the June timeframe. And then ultimately the United States. And a lot of people have asked in the past why we haven't gone into the United States first. And there's reasons for that, but suffice it to say that since Barcelona, we've been working with the 2 largest carriers here in America, and again, we'll be delivering devices to them in the June and July timeframe. So this gives us an idea of the market opportunity that exists in the current configuration of the market. And what's interesting is if you look at the opportunity in Latin America, in India, and Africa, you recognize that the challenges to get product into those markets is considerable. So one of the things that we've done is we've entered into a relationship with Flextronics. We believe Flextronics is the #1 consumer electronics manufacturer in the world. And what's interesting for us is that they have a footprint that spans the globe. They literally have manufacturing facilities in every market that we're looking at entering, be it the United States, be it Latin America, India, China, and they're very excited in the relationship, and we're looking forward to a very long and successful relationship with Flextronics. One of the things that has been very exciting about 5BARZ is who we've been able to attract to the management team. We've just recently brought on Gil Emilio to serve as our chairman. Gil has an iconic background in business and in technology. He was the longest tenured director at AT&T, resigned his post at AT&T to join our board as chairmanship. We're very excited about that. And of course, Gil, you may remember, was CEO of Apple Computer, CEO of National Semiconductor, and brings a depth and skill set to the board that we're very, very excited about. Naresh Soni, who is a high-level Chief Technology Officer, comes to us from InterDigital. And InterDigital is a $2.6 billion NASDAQ-listed company deep in the telecom IP. So together with Gil as chairman, with Naresh as Chief Technology Officer, we're able to build a very strong management team that will, in fact, allow us and permit us to roll this product out across the world. Structurally, we are a 60% outright owner of Celllinks, which is the technology company. We own 60% of the outstanding stock as well as the IP, and we'll be moving to consolidate that company to 100% ownership in the next quarter. Stock symbol is, everyone I hope knows the stock symbol here at the conference. Current cap table has 178 million issued now currently. And if we look at the warrants, fully diluted, we're at the 238 number, and then with employee options at 247. One of the things that I'm asked a lot about is how are we going to capitalize this business? How are we going to properly roll out this company in the markets that we've talked about? If we talk about India, we talk about China, we talk about these other marketplaces, we recognize that there's going to be a need to raise some additional capital. And so we spent the last 3 or 4 months working very diligently on that process. And what we're going to do is we're going to form 10 companies around the world. And these 10 companies are going to be subsidiaries that will be wholly owned by 5 BARZ. We're then going to sell minority interest in these companies so that we can raise capital to properly roll out the business in those different markets. And then we're going to hire chief executives in those markets to run those businesses. So look for, over the next several weeks, press releases that will detail how we're going to raise that money, who we're going to engage as an investment banker to raise that money, and who we're going to hire to raise, once we raise the money, to operate these businesses. We think this is really the key things of the next 2 quarters for 5 BARZ, is really infrastructure, is building infrastructure, putting in place the right management, the right financing, so that we can actually take advantage of this opportunity that's being created. You need to look at 2 things in determining whether or not this company is interesting for your portfolio or something that you want to follow. It's number 1 is the technology. Do we deliver on the technology? And does the technology resonate? Does the technology compete in the marketplace? And I think if you look at our solution against the current marketplace, I think that you will conclude that indeed we have a technology that meets those criteria, and now it's a question of execution. A business, in the end of the day, is about executing. And can we, in fact, commercialize this product around the world, be first to market, and realize its potential? So to that, I think you'd have to look at our concept as well. And do we have the right tools in place to make that happen? What are the tools that we need to have in place? We need to have the right kind of capital in place. We need to have the right management in place. We need to have the right idea in terms of how do we execute on that. And I believe that if you would panel 80 or 90 executives to determine whether or not we are making the right decisions, I think that they would all agree that the way that we have to now move this business forward is we have to create these subsidiaries so we can incentivize local management to run these subsidiaries, and then I think you have to figure out a way to capitalize them. And I think that we have done that, and again, over the next several weeks, you'll see press releases that will articulate that and will describe, in fact, how we're going to do that. So really, to me, this is an inflection point where we sit back and say, okay, let's see what happens over the next 2 quarters. That's going to define our company. That's going to define whether or not we can execute in a timely manner and be successful.